What's up, guys? Coach Fizdale fired by the Knicks after a 4-18 start. What went wrong with him? In my opinion, he was never really a good coach to begin with, guys. This is a guy whose whole reputation was based on being LeBron's buddy on the bench as an assistant coach for the Miami Heat. The Heat who had the, white Filipino, whatever, head coach. This was the brother that LeBron could relate to, okay? And so that's what that was. Is that real? Does that really make him a good coach? Because, he's the elder black man role model for LeBron James on the Miami Heat. And, he didn't really do anything constructive or productive with the Memphis Grizzlies. He was clearly a guy who coached with one eye on the camera. He coached for the cameras, as one of you guys said, or somebody on the internet said a long time ago. And that's never really a good sign. You don't want a coach who's too vain, who's got too big an ego, and who doesn't really have the self-awareness about that. And, you look at the Knicks roster, and that was the big warning sign, is you got all these egos, these all individual scores, and then you have a coach who has the same mentality, who doesn't know how to adjust these personalities and how to balance them in rosters and to keep some sense of coherency. So let's take a look player-wise what might have gone wrong, because I thought the Nets were going to suck with Kyrie dragging them down, and Kyrie was absolutely dragging them down, and then he got hurt, and all of a sudden they're a good team. So kind of like that, the Broadway musical, The Producers, right? They try to make a musical that's so bad, but it turns out good anyway. So what went wrong? I think he played R.J. Barrett too much. But also, so why was he even hired by the Knicks in the first place, though? We know the Knicks are run by two black guys. And we know that Barack Obama's black brother-in-law is also part of the Knicks brain trust, along with Barack Obama himself, giving the feedback, being part of the boys club, right? While Obama is also part of the whole trying to develop basketball in Africa. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to say he was hired purely because he's black, but that's basically what it came down to. He was hired by two black guys. James Dolan was staying out of the way, and they, they didn't have any doubts in their mind that this Knicks team was going to be at least solid. And so, like bringing in Julius Randle, well, Julius Randle is what he is, and anybody who really looked closely, he was always just a good stats on a bad team kind of guy. And on the Lakers, he never put the team first. He was always sulking and moping if it wasn't all about him all the time. And then he puts up empty points on a tanking for Zion basketball team with the Pelicans last year. That's going to be one of your problems. But the move that they should have really made was they needed to be splitting up their chucker, me first, egotistical players, right? You can't play 4 or 5 chuckers together on the same team at the same time and expect there to be good chemistry and trust and all these other things, right? And, Danny Ainge has made these same mistakes. So while these might be traditionally, stereotypically, black, I would say blind spots when it comes to understanding the game of basketball, Danny Ainge has those same blind spots, and I'm sure some others, guys have had it as well. You just can't put a bunch of chuckers together and then have an egotistical coach on top of it with no chemistry whatsoever, and nobody even understands what chemistry is. Nobody understands what an overrated defender looks like, right? No one understands that Julius Randle can't play defense, and Marcus Morris basically stinks at defense too. And understanding that Dennis Smith Jr. stinks at defense. So what did they really need to do? Okay, and so as we see amongst starters, these are just among starters. We see that R.J. Barrett, among guys who have started, more than just 6 games, R.J. Barrett has the lowest plus minus. So the chances are they were forcing him too many minutes, right? There was one point he even seemed to be playing 38, 40 minutes a game or something like that. And Anyway, I think Kevin Knox started 3 times, but I think they should have been playing Kevin Knox more because he can kind of be a little more of a, he's not just going to gun it all the time. Although he has shot like crap, at least as a starter in the 3 games, he shot like crap. But the real key was these 2 guys right here, Frank Ntilikina and Elfrid Payton. These 2 guys were the key. And they didn't get enough burn. Frank Ntilikina, 29 minutes, that's pretty good. These guys should have been getting more playing time. RJ Barrett should have been getting less playing time. And remember, we had the situation with the Kings last year, I believe, where the general manager and owner just really, really wanted to play Marvin Bagley all the time. And the coach actually had them winning or at least flirting with 500, and they ended up firing him. Mike Malone, I believe, somebody like that. They ended up firing him despite the fact that he actually had the team overperforming because he realized that this rookie, despite his high draft status, was not ready to impact winning in a positive way. And so when you're both trying to win and you're trying to play your 18 or 19-year-old rookie as much as possible, and that rookie just happens to be a gunner, which happens to be the exact same mentality as Marcus Morris and Julius Randle, and especially Alonzo Trier, and probably even Bobby Portis as well. Well, and Dennis Smith, you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have big problems. So this was always a team of basically bad defensive guys who tend to put up empty points without really affecting the game in any kind of analytical sense. That's basically the story of most of Marcus Morris's time in Boston, and that's definitely the case with Alonzo Trier his entire college career and last year. Managing the personalities is where this team went wrong. In assembling the right collection of personalities so they don't all have the same personality. And when it's every man for himself and every man is hungry and every man has a big, big appetite, you're going to have a lot of infighting. They're all going to turn into each other, turn on each other, turn into Lord of the Flies. And I suppose this is the result. So they were always going to be slightly bad. If they had just focused more on development and they hadn't signed Julius Randle, if they had signed some more developmental player who was more known for, say, defense than, being a volume scorer. They just thought they could assemble as many volume scorers as possible, and it was all just going to magically work out. And they really thought that. Otherwise, this guy right now wouldn't be being fired, because ultimately he's put them in a good position draft-wise, tanking-wise, but it's just perhaps the unrealistic expectations and the obvious clear mismanagement by him and the general manager to play the guys he does have in the right combination. So if I had to guess, I would say Kevin Knox probably should have been getting more minutes, and RJ Barrett probably should have been getting less, and Elfrid Payton probably should have been getting more minutes as well. And there was always going to be a mediocre team, or sub-mediocre, but you would expect more effort. And because he wasn't playing the players with the right balance, even Marcus Morris, we see that his plus minus is one of the highest among these starters. So and this is just a superficial look, but anyway, guys, Julius Randle and RJ Barrett may very well have been a significant part of this problem, but Randle was probably the biggest free agency signing, and RJ Barrett obviously the number 2 draft pick. So and depth-wise, they didn't really have it. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. But Coach Fizdale fired. Obama probably not sitting courtside very often these days. He doesn't really want to associate his personal brand with the Knicks. But, you got to give the Knicks a lot of credit in one regard, and that is passing on the nightmare of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant package, which would have also included grossly overpaying DeAndre Jordan, and ultimately grossly overpaying Kyrie and grossly overpaying Kevin Durant, because what you're really paying Kevin Durant for is to be 33, 34, 35, 36. You're basically paying him 4 years and upwards of $45, $47 million a year post Achilles injury, when he clearly is not super motivated to win championships at this stage of his career. And he's in the New York City nightlife, and he basically just wants to chill with Kyrie. So if you think the Knicks are bad now, just imagine if they had Kyrie Irving in that mix, signed for 4 more years, with DeAndre Jordan signed for 4 more years too, right? With basically, roughly, approximately these same results. That wouldn't be a super pretty picture either. So you do have to give them credit. They took the short-term publicity hit, looking like free agency losers who weren't even smart enough to jump at the chance to sign Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan for 4 years. All right, guys, let me know what you think. I'll see you soon. Peace.